Hey everyone, what's happening? So, Brendan Rodgers leaving Celtic to join Leicester. Check out the big balls on Brendan! Honestly, we were chatting about this, me and my dad, the weekend. He's going, oh, Brendan Rodgers, he could go to Leicester. I'm like, nah, won't be a thing. He'd be soft, stupid to move to Leicester at this point in his career. He's gone there, he's rebuilt his reputation up in Scotland. He's won pretty much everything that you can win. Now he's got a bit of a threat from Steven Gerrard's Rangers, of course he has, but he's got that chance. Stay there a bit longer, break the 9 in a row record, or at least match it. No, break it because big Brendan balls. Forever cement yourself as an absolute Celtic legend, and then have your pick of where you want to go off the back of there. Brendan Rodgers decided 8 points clear at the top of the Scottish Premier League, or whatever it's called these days. Honestly, I googled it. I found 2 different versions. I don't know what it's called. It's largely not important to me. 8 points clear at the top of the league of Rangers. 6 games left to play. 6 games. The league. I don't know how this league is structured, and I've tried to ask people who do know, and no one has been able to give me an answer. Why does the Scottish League finish like the first week in April? No idea. And then look on Google. It says first phase. No idea. No, what does that mean? Does that mean anything? Is that of any import? Does that mean does that mean they win the league in 6 games? I don't have the answers to these questions. The point is, Celtic are almost guaranteed to win another league title. 3 consecutive league titles that would have been for Brendan Rodgers. He's effectively walked away from a trophy parade. Now, that sends a good message. That's like Brendan Rodgers is like, league titles. Do that all the time, mate. Not a big deal. I'm just going to go and wave my little wand of magic passing tiki-taka football over whomever I so desire. And in this instance, apparently he desires former Premier League champions, Leicester City. Weird though. I don't know. Again, from conversation this weekend, I think, well, what does Brendan do? And in my head, the route for Brendan Rodgers was, look, you've gotten back on the horse. You've done brilliant, albeit, largely expected things up in Scotland. Where'd you go from there? Go to the continent, go to Europe, go and do that feat again, but at a slightly higher level. I say slightly, a much higher level. Well, anything. Go and do it in the Belgian league. Go and do it in the Portuguese league. If you can get a job higher than that, absolutely go for it. Do that, but go and take a Benfica or a Porto or a Red Bull Salzburg. No idea who wins that league. That was the only team at Club Bruges. Go and take a team that's within a clutch of 1 or 2 who's almost certain to win a division. Build your CV up again. Express yourself. Get some more experience on the continent. Play in European competition without having to play in Europe, or either the Champions League, Europa League. And maybe even get that, to be honest, because if you're able to win a better quality domestic league, you're gonna go win a league where you get into the qualification, you get through the qualification round straight away of the Champions League, you get into the group stage, because that's the big failing that Brendan's got, is that he's had a little bit of European experience there with Celtic, but not probably what he needs to be a true top level manager. Is he going to get that at Leicester? Where do you go from Leicester? Unless he thinks Leicester's going to be the be all and end all, and he's happy just to be in and around 7th of the Premier League for a few years and then see what transpires. Maybe the Chelsea job will come up and he can have a go at that. I really don't know, but it feels odd. It feels a touch too soon. And maybe it's bottle. Maybe he hasn't got big Brendan bouncing balls. Maybe he's looking at the pressure of Steven Gerrard and thinking, if I don't go now, all of a sudden next season, maybe he tries to stick it out and goes for 10 in a row. What happens if Gerrard wins it next season? Because it's a possibility, because they've come from basically nowhere with a very limited budget to be, pretty much the second best team in that league. Maybe he fears Gerrard. Maybe he fears not just losing out to Steven Gerrard and therefore damaging his reputation in that regard, but also, what happens? Gerrard's only got to win one. Gerrard only needs to win one title there, and then he can move on. And maybe there's a big job that comes up, and and you've got Frank Lampard doing decent stuff with Derby in the Championship. All of a sudden, Brendan Rodgers isn't competing against David Moyes and Sam Allardyce for jobs. He's competing against two of the best players ever to play the game, who are also really hot upcoming managers who've got all that respect. They command all that dressing room respect. You'll have seen that in Scotland already. Gerrard's just coming with an aura, and he must be looking at him going, I remember that aura from the changing rooms at Liverpool. Didn't like it. You know, I wonder whether I'm just inventing stories for the sake of it. I don't know whether any of this is true. I know Gerrard did like Rodgers, and whether, you know, him allowing Gerrard not to finish his career out at Liverpool, allowing him to move to LA Galaxy. Maybe it is a factor of Gerrard. Look, he's about 1.5 foot taller than him. He's much more handsome, and he's world class of football still. And he seems to be pretty decent at this whole management gig. So that's the world Brendan Rodgers got. And as I say, maybe it's just pure fear. Maybe he's thinking, this is my chance to get back into the Premier League at a decent level club. They've got a decent amount of money. They've got a good stadium. They've still got a couple of players who are good assets, etc., etc. I can go in there and do a bit. Is there an outside chance of him still getting Europe with Leicester? I actually don't know. I haven't looked below second in the league for about 3 months. So let me know if you know the answer to that question in the comments. Is there a chance? Could he do that with Leicester? Because if he can, that makes it a bit more of an easy decision, because if he's almost nailed on to get Europa League, then yeah, fine. That makes far more sense. But for me, it's a bit of an interesting one. Like I say, I think Brendan Rodgers had a bit more. I think a little bit more patience was maybe needed. But look, he's a progressive man. He's still a relatively young manager. I think he's a very, very good manager as well. And I think he'd be a good fit for Leicester, to be honest. I think he's good enough to manage in the Premier League. We've seen that. Is he good enough to manage higher up the Premier League? Does he need a bit more higher level experience to prove that? I think he probably does. One really interesting narrative that's coming on the back of this, though, takes the Leicester job. And my first thought was, have they got Manchester City left to play this season? And the answer to that question is yes. Yes, they do. They play them second to last game of the season. Now, albeit at the Etihad, but Brendan had a decent little record against Man City. One of that particular 13-14 game, I mean, again, albeit at Anfield, we've seen Roy Hodgson take points off them. We've seen Rafa Benitez take points off them. Brendan Rodgers for the ex-manager hat-trick. Second to last game of the season. We're playing Rafa's Newcastle in St James's Park. That would be absolutely fucking delicious. Make that happen, Brendan. I mean, ultimately, and Jurgen and the whole Liverpool team, and ultimately the Man City team, make it happen. Make it happen. If we can make it happen by crossing our fingers and toes, then let us cross our fingers and toes. I love that story. I love that idea of Brendan getting revenge for 13-14 by basically stopping Man City from beating Liverpool to the league title. I mean, Liverpool got to start winning some football games between now and then. But yeah, allow ourselves to dream. Allow our brains and minds to wander to a wonderful, wonderful land where Brendan Rodgers at the Etihad, having stolen something, does his little... his little fist bump. That would be fucking amazing, Brendan. Go and do it. Take the Leicester job. Go and do it. Help hand us a league title. Oh, you beautiful little man. Yeah, let us know your thoughts on the whole thing, whether from a Scottish perspective, from a Leicester perspective, or from a Liverpool Man City perspective, in the comments below. If you want more from me, I did a video the other week about how I'm so stressed about Liverpool's title challenge. I'm feeling a bit better, weirdly, even though Liverpool have drawn games of football since then. I feel better about it now, but if you're struggling with it, that video might help you get out. In the comments section below, it's absolutely fantastic. It's been a real help to everyone who's in a similar boat. Other than that, thank you very much, everyone. See you soon, hopefully with loads of wins, and then Brendan's little face in his...